Picture a thriving, interconnected galaxy. In this system, two planets, the Zorgons and the Blorps, trade freely with one another. No taxes at the borders, no limits on what they can buy or sell. This setup works because they practice specialization. The Zorgons happen to be highly efficient at mining space crystals, while the Blorps have the engineering skills required to manufacture high-tech hypertractors. By focusing on what they do best and trading for the rest, both planets see a measurable shift in their economies. They gain access to a wider variety of resources, consumer prices drop, and the total system output reaches a level that neither planet could achieve in isolation. When an economy operates without artificial barriers, resources naturally flow to where they are used most efficiently. That efficiency raises the standard of living across the entire system. But economies rarely stay perfectly balanced. Eventually, the Blorps decide they want to mine their own space crystals to build what economists call an infant industry, a brand new domestic business. The problem is they are highly inefficient compared to the Zorgons. Unable to compete on price, Blorp politicians make a serious accusation. They claim the Zorgons are engaged in dumping, deliberately selling space crystals below the actual cost of production just to drive the new Blorp miners out of business. This exact accusation happens constantly in the real world. A prime example occurred when the European Union accused China of dumping its glass solar panels into European markets to undercut local manufacturers. Whether the accusation is entirely true or not, the fear of job losses and unfair foreign competition creates immense political pressure. Governments feel compelled to step in and intervene in free trade. To fight back against the Zorgons, the Blorp government uses its most common weapon, a tariff. A tariff is simply a tax placed on imported goods. In the short term, this works exactly as intended. The tax makes Zorgon crystals more expensive, which successfully shields the infant Blorp mining industry and protects local jobs from foreign competition. As a bonus, every time a Zorgon crystal does cross the border, the Blorp government collects the tax. That means an immediate new stream of revenue for the state. You can see why tariffs are so tempting for policymakers. The benefits, saving local jobs and boosting government budgets, are immediate, highly visible to voters, and politically popular. However, the bill eventually comes due, and it is paid by Blorp consumers. The immediate consequence of the tariff is a skyrocketing price for space crystals, which reduces their overall purchasing power and economic welfare. It also causes a phenomenon known as imported inflation. Blorp hypertractor factories rely on those imported space crystals as a core raw material. Because of the tariff, their production costs suddenly spike. This supply and demand graph shows the mechanics of that distortion. The tariff forces the world supply line upward, raising the price for every buyer. While domestic producers gain a bit of extra revenue, consumers lose much more because they are paying a higher price on every unit they buy. The dead weight loss, these small triangles on the graph, represents economic value that simply vanishes, helping no one. This is why the total cost to the public exceeds the benefit to the industry. By stepping in to protect a single inefficient mining industry, the Blorps have made their entire manufacturing sector more expensive and less competitive on the global stage. And the Zorgons do not just sit quietly and accept a tax. Frustrated by the barrier, they retaliate by placing an import quota on Blorp hypertractors. A quota operates differently than a tariff. Instead of taxing the goods, a quota is a strict physical limit on the exact quantity of foreign products allowed into the country. If you are studying for your economics exams, you need to memorize this distinction. Increasing a tariff increases trade protection, but increasing a quota limit actually reduces protection because you are allowing more foreign units to enter. The Zorgons' quota is a classic retaliatory strike. Protectionist policies almost never happen in a vacuum. They trigger a tit-for-tat spiral that chokes off international trade in both directions. We are left with a stalled galactic economy. Because of the barriers, both planets suffer from a global misallocation of resources. They are spending their time and labor producing goods they lack a comparative advantage in. Worse, the industries they fought so hard to protect face a long-term danger. Without exposure to genuine foreign competition, protected firms develop a false sense of security. They lose the incentive to innovate, cut costs, or improve their quality. A quick shortcut for your essays: the concepts mirror each other perfectly. The arguments for free trade, like lower prices and higher efficiency, are the exact arguments you use against protectionism. A trade barrier might temporarily shield an infant industry from early harm, but the resulting market distortion, imported inflation, and inevitable trade wars shrink the total economic pie, leaving the entire system poorer than when it started.